Hello everyone and welcome back to the 6th episode of the Animation Era, the podcast where I talk about certain topics such as gaming, film, or religion. Today's subject, I want to come up with theories about the Amazing Digital Circus, where it will lead, and the overarching story of the whole thing. Especially since we just got the sneak peek for episode 2, and there's so many Easter eggs hidden in this. Before we start this episode, I just want to say, if you haven't seen the pilot episode, I do suggest you do and go watch it. It is really interesting, and just the whole leading up to there's so many things that are unled mysteries or unsolved mysteries, and suggest you guys and go watch it before you come back to this video. Now the new sneak peek, which at the time of recording we just got this morning, the new sneak peek definitely shows a lot of Easter eggs that you would typically miss. This new sneak peek is really close to the Murder Drones episode 7 sneak peek we got around 2 or 3 months ago. It has many fast-paced moments where if you're not keeping up you could totally miss, and it could totally describe the entire story of the whole show, yet you can't really grasp it if you haven't seen the pilot. If you have seen the pilot, you could understand it. I also do recommend go see the couple of film theory videos on MatPat's channel, The Film Theorists, because those theories are just so useful to have, and I think some of them might be onto something. Now, in this sneak peek, we can see some sort of a glitchy monster, and this glitchy monster is very interesting to me because there's a theory going around that Kane is actually the main antagonist of the whole show. Now, this theory is very interesting to know because Kane controls the entire thing, the circus. He is confirmed to be artificial intelligent, and that artificial intelligence part doesn't really sit right with me, because how would he know to keep everyone in the circus if he wasn't already fed that? Because artificial intelligence cannot learn things on its own. It has to be fed information for then to turn that information into its own words. In the sneak peek, we can see a little clip of a glitchy monster, and I'm wondering if this glitchy monster is the main antagonist and is just using Kane as a puppet to keep everyone in the circus. As we saw in the last episode, in the pilot, at the very end of the pilot, it zooms out and we can see Pomni's computer in real life. This is interesting to me because Pomni's computer is not connected to any of the computers in the entire office. Now, MatPat does say this in his film theory video, but Pomni could have been promoted to a better rank in the office, and when she put on the headset, she was sucked into the game. So most of these characters look like they could have been sucked into the game by being promoted to the same position as Pomni was when she got sucked in. Now, if you might be a little bit confused, I would be too, because I didn't know VR headsets existed in this time, but the show is based roughly in the 1990s. Now, VR headsets have existed then. It wasn't as popular, and only I think a few museums and some companies had VR headsets, and you needed this whole system. It wasn't like the Quest 2 where there's no wires. In 1990s, the VR headset was not advanced whatsoever. The fact that there's so little characters in the circus actually makes sense because it's based in the 1990s and not that many people have access to these virtual reality headsets. Even when it comes to artificial intelligence was born roughly in the 1950s. So artificial intelligence has existed at this time. It's just not advanced to the point how Kane is advanced. You could see that in the pilot episode, Kane has some weird attributes that doesn't work properly, and that's because artificial intelligence in the 1990s wasn't even that advanced. Kane is so ahead of his time. Now we have programs like ChatGPT, which is so good at replicating and writing stuff so professionally that Kane is so advanced for the 1990s. Now, Kane being a puppet is just one of the many theories I have for this second episode. The next point I would like to look on is this point in the video where Jax is sitting by himself and having this kind of somber moment as the sun sets. This is very interesting to me because it looks like we're gonna get some more backstories on each of the characters. Now, I don't know how much backstory, but Jax is supposed to be this non-caring caring, laughing at every moment, doesn't give a crap about anyone kind of guy. And the fact that he's having this somber, sad moment really says a lot about his character. He might be reflecting on when he was a real human, or might be reflecting on if this is even real or it is all a dream. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was confirmed somewhere by Gooseworks, which is the creator of the Amazing Digital Circus, and she confirmed that Jax does get a little bit more crazier in each episode, or not necessarily crazier, but more mean to the cast members. So the fact that we see this somber moment really says a lot about his character, and I'm wondering if maybe he might abstract by the end of the season 1. I'm not sure if we'll get a season 2, but it's definitely confirmed we're getting a season 1. Although most people would think Kinger might be the first one to abstract after Kaufmo, I think Jax might be, because he might get a little mean every single episode, but he has this somber moment, and that's always going to be playing in the back of my head until this episode comes out, because I'm not going to know what is going to happen. Now, another thing I would like to know, which isn't 100% confirmed, is could there be songs or musical notes in the Amazing Digital Circus? Yes, we had the theme song, but I'm not 100% sure if that necessarily counts. Now, Gooseworks is known for making incredible music. In fact, Gooseworks actually made most of the Hazbin Hotel pilot original soundtracks. So Gooseworks does know how to make some incredible music. But when I say musical notes, I mean songs sung by the characters and not just background soundtracks just to play in the episode. Because if there's a musical note, this somber moment with Jax would be the perfect time to put a musical note. And even not then, but just there's so many points where I can see that would be perfect for a musical note. Like at the very end at the Candyland episode, you can see they're with the Candy Princess and they're all walking down the aisle. I think that would be really cool to put a song there. Maybe not, you never know. This show is very unpredictable. I will say that is very unpredictable. If you watch the pilot, every single turn, left, right, and center, it's just, you never expect what's coming next. A few little Easter eggs I did notice was that Gangle is happy for actually quite a bit of the beginning of the episode. And the reason I know it's the beginning, although it shows some of the clips where Gangle's happy at the end of the sneak peek and at the beginning of the sneak peek, the reason I know that it's only at the beginning is because they're only in the circus when Gangle's happy. So that means when they go to the Candyland, Gangle's no longer happy, which I find interesting because at the very beginning of the pilot, Gangle is immediately, Jax steps on her happy mask, which is interesting because she loses it kind of like a little bit in, but not that far in. So I'm wondering if as episodes go on, Gangle's gonna be happier and happier each episode. Another thing that is confirmed for 100% is Zubul will have different parts of her body in every single episode. So every episode you see, Zubul will have different parts of her body, which we can see in the sneak peek at some point. Another interesting fact is there's a part in the sneak peek where Pomni is falling into an abyss. Now I wonder if this is the basement that Kane put Kaufmo in the pilot episode, or this is something else. And the reason I think it might be something else is because Pomni hasn't been extracted. You can clearly see that she just looks like her normal self. So I wonder why it would be in the basement, but there is like a light coming from above, which is like the hole that Kane opened up. So it could be the basement, but I'm not 100% sure on that theory yet. The reason it could be the basement as well is because Pomni also adventured out into the void in the pilot episode. So she's already been places where she's not actually supposed to go. That in itself is already interesting because she might go to the abyss and Kane might not know it. And I think that wraps up today's episode. If you guys have any theories of your own, let me know in the comments and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Goodbye.